Hey guys, can you see this underground tunnel? It's a little bit hard to show from this angle, but you can still see it. Let me put the camera up as high as possible and extend it as much as I can so we can see what's underground. What you see is one of the last existing ancient underground tunnels of India, and you can see a large rectangular opening. It's dark inside because it goes deeper, but it is partially closed with another stone slab. This is not a new tunnel, by the way. This is in the ancient temple of Modhera in Gujarat, which is at least 1,000 years old. Unfortunately, no one is permitted to climb inside and see what's there. So this is the best I can show you. But I'm not making this video to show you just this one tunnel. In this video, I'm going to try and find undeniable evidence of a vast underground network stretching for hundreds of miles in the state of Gujarat. And this underground system was created by ancient builders of India. This is not the only tunnel in this temple, by the way. There is another tunnel going from the other side of the temple as well. There are big wasps guarding the second underground tunnel. This one does not have an opening at the top, so I cannot put my camera on top and show you. I can only show you through the wire mesh, but if you try hard, you can see that there is an opening going underground. Locals say there are vast underground networks that connect many ancient temples of Gujarat, almost like an underground subway system. Some people have mentioned the same information online. For example, IndieTales.com says this about Modhera Temple. Quote, there is a closed underground path that potentially links the temple to Paatal, end quote. Paatal is a city that has the famous Rani Ki Vav temple. This is about 35 kilometers or 22 miles directly north of the Modhera Sun Temple. Some locals here also told me that this underground tunnel goes to another temple called Jasmalnathji Temple. This is about 30 miles exactly to the east of Modhera. So when we put this on a map, we see that it is a triangle with perfect angles because one tunnel goes straight up to north and the other one perfectly to the east. So I'm going to travel east to the Jasmalnathji Temple, and this is in a remote village called Asoda. As soon as I reach the Jasmalnathji Temple, I am mesmerized by its beauty. But there is only one thing I'm looking for. Is there at least one underground tunnel anywhere? As I look around, I am disappointed. Yes, I have traveled all the way to this temple because some locals in Modhera told me there is an underground tunnel here. But it may just be an old folklore, not rooted in reality. Should we really believe what locals say? Are they just spinning baseless theories? And then a local from this area walks into the temple.
वहाँ ये जगह पर अभी रिनोवेशन हुआ है. इससे पहले इधर काला पत्थर था. और ये काला पत्थर के नीचे जो हमारी गुजराती भाषा में उसको बोयड़ा बोलते हैं. बोयड़ा. और हिंदी में सुराग बोलते हैं. वहां से नीचे से चलकर पाटन तक निकलती थी. ऐसी लोक मान्यता थी.
He clearly says there is an underground tunnel going in from this area, and originally it was covered with a black stone slab. But even after hearing this, I'm skeptical about this story. I need more evidence. At least there should be some visual proof to validate the claim of an underground tunnel. But then, immediately after him, almost like a divine intervention, the priest of the temple walks in, and in his hands, he has something very important. Watch. Yes, sir. आपका नाम?
मेरा नाम महेंद्र भाई, यहाँ का पुजारी है।
Temple's pujari.
Yes.
His name is. You want me to translate now?
No, that's okay. What is this? ये क्या है?
ये यहाँ से गुप्त मार्ग है।
गुप्त मार्ग?
हाँ, वो रानी की वाव जाता है यहाँ से।
Underground tunnel?
हाँ, अंडरग्राउंड
Tunnel?
हाँ।
कहाँ जाता है वो?
ये रानी की वाव, पाटल।
रानी की वाव?
पाटल।
कितना दूर है? वहाँ से, यहाँ से?
120 किलोमीटर।
120 किलोमीटर meaning what?
Yes.
120.
120 kilometers?
Yes.
Gupt Marg?
हाँ, गुप्त मार्ग।
Okay. So look guys, he's showing a photograph of himself. That's himself. And you can see this is what he's saying. So this used to be an underground tunnel that goes right there. This is the position. You can see that's the main chamber. So this is the position of the underground tunnel. And you can see that black thing here, right? So he's saying this goes to Rani Ki Vav. That's 120 kilometers. What time did he take the picture? This
ये
picture?
पिक्चर कब की है?
ये अभी का है। ये हम समझो 2013 का है।
2013.
2013, like 10 years ago, right? So it was open at that time?
ये खुला हुआ था उस समय पे।
हाँ, नहीं ये पत्थर लग गया था।
पत्थर लग गया।
Oh, so they just put a black stone to cover it?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
That's it, they just covered
Yes,
this.
yes.
Okay, and then when did they cover when did they put the concrete?
ये वाला कब लगाया पत्थर हटा के?
ये मेरे ख्याल से 2021 में लगाया।
2021.
Oh, just 2 years ago, they've covered this up. Has he gone
आप
into...
गए हैं अंदर उसमें?
नहीं, हमारा जो वनवा होते ना, वो गए थे उसके
आपके
लिए।
पिताजी?
हाँ।
His father went.
How deep?
Yes.
कितना गहरा था?
ये मेरे अंदर जाने का भी बहुत गहरा था, पर जो मधुमक्खी रहते ना,
Honeybees?
वो और सांप। Yes.
And
Oh,
snakes.
out
Yes.
now we have.
हाँ, yes.
Snakes.
फिर उसके लिए फिर बंद कर दिया।
That's why they closed it.
Okay. Anything else he wants to say?
That stone is still there in that
Oh yeah, there's another stone. That black stone. ये black stone है वहाँ पे. Let's go see.
I'll close the bag and come.
So guys, he's saying that black stone that was used to cover up the underground tunnel is there somewhere. We're gonna go take a look, okay? This sounds very interesting. He's saying there is an underground tunnel that goes to 120 kilometers. If that's true, that would perhaps be the largest underground tunnel that, ancient and the longest underground tunnel that we have ever seen, I think. So let's see. Oh, be careful. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the stone. This one. Oh.
That black stone.
Yeah, this black
ये
stone.
पत्थर निकाले ना, वो नया पत्थर आया ना।
अच्छा,
और
तो
ये
ये मंदिर के
हाँ।
पुराने पत्थर यही थे.
हाँ, यही थे।
This was the original floor of
हाँ,
the
yes.
temple. They removed it.
Original. Oh, I see. So this used to be the ground.
Yes.
The stones from the ground, and they removed it, and this was the
हाँ, ये अंडरग्राउंड में थी।
This was the
cover.
This was the cover of that passage.
Yeah, this was covering that passage.
ये समय ना,
This stone is different from these stones.
Okay, yeah.
और मैंने ऐसा है।
So as you can see, guys, this pile of rock. You can see this pile of rocks. He's saying that these made up the original floor of the inside of the temple. Now you can see that it's been renovated a little bit. And this rock, I hope you can see this, covered that underground passage, the one that you can see in the picture. I'll post a scanned picture for you to see. But this was the rock that originally covered the underground passage that went 120 kilometers. I don't know how many miles that is. I think probably 80 miles or something like this. It goes 80-mile long or 100-mile long underground passage to Rani Ki Vav temple. Was the underground tunnel narrow to walk? Yeah, horse may.
It was ये पतला था, केवल एक इंसान जा सकता था या घोड़े वगैरह जा सकते थे?
अंदर से घोड़े जा सकते हैं, मतलब निकलने के लिए एक ही आदमी निकल सकता है.
Horses can walk, but just one person can come out.
वो राजा ने का गुप्त मार्ग रहता है ना वो. सुनिए, वाव लिखाओ, वाव.
Yes, wow, yeah, that's good. Okay, guys, so he said he'll take us to a vav, that means an underground well. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen there. I don't know what's gonna happen there, but he thinks there is something there. So that's a temple. So we're just stepping out of the temple and let's see what we find. But there is something fundamentally wrong with my theory of these underground tunnels. They're too narrow to extend for hundreds of miles, okay? What do I mean by this? Today, let's say we build a long-distance underground tunnel. Let's make it simpler. Let's say you build a road connecting two cities which are 100 miles apart. Will you build it as a small pathway that is just 2 feet wide? No. If you knew how to build a roadway for 100 miles, if you had the technology and resources to build such a big project, you would make it into a wide road, at least 2 lanes wide. Why? Because if you make it too narrow, let's say you're going in a car in a narrow road, and from the opposite side, another car comes in, what would you do? Both the cars are supposed to go back or something? No, you would build at least a 2-lane system. The same logic also applies to underground tunnels and people riding on horses. So such long underground tunnels stretching for more than 100 miles must have a width of at least 10 feet, like a 2-lane system, to facilitate at least 1 horse on each side. But there is a logical mistake here. If such a large underground tunnel system existed, why are these entry and exit points so narrow? How will a horse get inside this tunnel or get outside of the tunnel, right? You cannot crawl or even walk for 100 miles, right? Vehicles, or at least horses, must have been used. But all these entry points I've shown you so far are not wide enough to fit even 1 horse. So we have to find the entry points that are wide enough for horses to go in. I think this is somebody's house, guys. It's a little bit close. There's a lot of nice little puppies here. So I think we're going into somebody's house. Oh. Oh.
ये वाव है.
ये वाव है.
हाँ.
तो ये बंद कर दिया गया.
हाँ, ये अभी सब बारिश का ये सब घर गिर गए ना सब. ये पुराने थे. ये सब चक्कर में है.
He's saying that used to be a well.
Yeah.
He's saying that used to be a well, correct?
Yeah.
He's saying that this used to be a well, like here. How deep?
Yeah. ये बहुत गहरा है. वो मम्मी है ना अपना जो मकाया वहाँ से सीधा है.
What's he saying? He's saying
He's
that
saying
connects.
that, it was connected to the temple also. The passage used to. There were two passages. One went to Rani Ki Vav. One was coming to this.
Oh, one went to here. Oh. So it connected. How deep was this vav? Ask him that.
कितना गहरा था ये लगभग?
ये बहुत गहरा है, पहला वाव का पूरा, हाँ
कितना फीट? 20 फीट थी?
हाँ 20 फुट है
20-30 feet. He is not sure.
Okay. When did they close this?
ये कब बंद किया गया?
ये 50-60 साल हो गया
50-60 years back.
Oh, 50-60 years back they closed it. But क्यों?
बंद क्यों किया गया?
हमें बारिश ज़्यादा आया था ना
भूकंप?
हाँ भूकंप और बारिश
Oh, for the
बारिश,
rain
because of the rain.
and the stuff.
हाँ वो बाढ़ आया था ना
Oh, it just got covered because of the mud, I think. Oh,
yes,
okay.
that's what-
Maybe naturally it got covered. So, it was not covered intentionally by humans, unlike what we saw in the temple. He says that it was covered by dirt naturally, like Rani Ki Vav. Rani Ki Vav was also covered with dirt naturally and was buried for many centuries until archaeologists excavated it and realized how big it was. Perhaps what we are seeing is a mere entry point and maybe a giant underground structure with steps like Rani Ki Vav exists right underneath my feet. So this must have been the entry and exit for the underground tunnel. This is large enough for a horse to go in or go out, and who knows how big this was originally. What we have is evidence that this was connected to the underground system by his own account, and it's not just a 1 or 2 feet wide passage. This is large enough for at least one horse to go in or come out. Remember Elon Musk's boring project? It's a vast underground highway system, but there are many entry and exit points, typically every few miles. At the surface level, they are large enough for one car, and then the underground tunnels will be many lanes wide. This underground tunnel system today is considered very advanced technology, and some people are saying that Elon Musk may not even be able to complete this project. What is shocking is that exactly the same underground system was set up in India at least 1,000 years ago, and it was operational. I have shown you visual evidence of underground passages in Modhera Sun Temple, and then the locals pointed to Jasmalnathji Temple, which is 50 kilometers away. And again, I've shown you visual evidence that such a passage also existed here. And in both places, they keep mentioning Rani Ki Vav in Paatal city. So this vast underground tunnel system does stretch for hundreds of miles. There must have been large entry and exit points at least every 5 miles to facilitate people riding horses. Now, I'm mentioning horses in 1,000 years as the timeline just to keep the mainstream historians happy. I'm a big proponent that these tunnels could be much, much older, and ancient builders used advanced vehicles, but I'm toning this theory down so we can keep it as simple as possible. And why do they have these tiny little exits in temples? They must have been used as emergency exits or something like that. The temples are somehow closely connected to this vast underground network. Some people think that the word Vav means just a small well for water. But think about why people call this structure Rani Ki Vav, or the Queen's Well. It is a giant structure that goes underground. Okay, now I've shown you solid evidences in Modhera and the Jasmalnathji Temple, but the last piece that everybody mentions is the Rani Ki Vav Temple in Paatal city. Does Rani Ki Vav also have underground tunnels? I have already covered the temple in many videos, but I think the tunnel is in a prohibited area and we cannot go past this area. However, many sources mention the existence of an underground tunnel in Rani Ki Vav. This is from Times of India, one of the largest newspapers in the country. Quote, below the last step of the stepwell, there is a gate that leads to a tunnel 30 kilometers long that opens at the town of Sidhpur near Paatal. It was built as an escape gateway that could be used by the king in the event of defeat during a war. That tunnel is now blocked by stones and mud. End quote. This is just one example, but there are many other websites which say that yes, there is an underground tunnel in Rani Ki Vav temple as well. So in my mind, there is no doubt that Rani Ki Vav also has a secret underground passage. When we look at the map, we can see a large triangular area connected underground, linking these three temple cities. This stretches for about 90 miles. Now, if you Google, what is the longest underground tunnel today? You will get the answer as the Gotthard Base Tunnel in Switzerland, with the length of 58 kilometers or 35 miles. And the ancient tunnel system we have seen so far in India is longer than this. What we see in India is about 90 miles long. And we know it is impossible to build such an underground tunnel system with sticks and stones and primitive tools like chisels and pickaxes. Ancient builders could not have built such large underground tunnels without the use of advanced technology. Just think about it. How did they manage lighting in these tunnels? These tunnels can be extremely dark. How did they manage to get light? How did they maintain oxygen levels there? So, what I have found is a huge breakthrough in understanding ancient India. I have found undeniable evidence of a very advanced ancient underground tunnel system. I have only explored these three temples looking for these tunnels as of now, but I'm sure I'll find a lot more evidence soon. So imagine this. As we are using these roads, we are traveling everywhere. But what is underneath me? Is it just solid earth filled with soil and rocks? Or is there a vast underworld, a vast underground realm waiting to be discovered? Is it empty or is it still being used by someone? Do you agree that there was an ancient underground network in this region? If not, how do you explain the entry points at the temples of Modhera, Jasmalnathji, and Rani Ki Vav? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I am Praveen Mohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.